Now, with reconsideration, you have to be careful with this one. You could do it, but there are very specifics that you need to consider when you want to reconsider. A reconsideration is only necessary, or you should only do this when you receive the refusal letter from the officer, and the reasons they're refusing it are based on documentation you've already proved. So, for example, you've been refused the visitor visa, and one of the reasons for refusal, or the only reason for refusal, was proving funds available. Meanwhile, in your application, you've included that you have $60,000 in your bank account, for example. So that's a substantial amount that shows that you have enough money to support your stay while in Canada. So if you find a refusal letter to not make much sense because you've already proven that, you've included your bank statements, you've included all the documentation to prove that you have that funds available for your trip, and that letter of refusal doesn't make much sense to you, then you can consider to file a reconsideration. Again, you still have to ensure that all the other documentation are filed. You still redo the forms and make sure they're up to date. You still would have to file a government fee. But in that reconsideration, in your submission, you want to state to the officer that this is a reconsideration on that original application that you filed, and you're not really including any additional documentation. And you want the officer to reconsider because the reason for refusal doesn't make sense based on the evidence or the documentation that you've already provided to the officer. There is no other document that you can prove to prove your funds because you've already included multiple bank statements, 6 months of it, for example, and there isn't any other document you can prove that funds are available to you. So in that case, you want to be very clear to the officer that this is a reconsideration on that first application that you submitted. And you'd be surprised how many of these we get approved at our firm. So if you filed your own application and you've got a refusal, meanwhile you've already proven the points that the officer refused your application, if you're not comfortable doing that application on your own, by all means do contact us and we'll be able to look at it and see if we can refile the application for you under reconsideration. I hope that clarifies the refiling and the reconsideration. Again, refiling is a brand new application where you can include other documents to support that refusal. So you're including much more documentation, versus the reconsideration, you're not really including any documentation. You are essentially asking the officer to reconsider because these documents were already provided. I hope that's clear. If you have any question, by all means, do give us a call. Thanks so much, and until next time.